Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for joining me once again today. My name is General Confusion, and this is Sid Meier's Alpha Centauri. I nearly left off the Sid Meiers there. Can't do that. Gotta get that marketing in. So, it has been a little while since we've played Alpha Centauri. You may be wondering why I'm looking at a base right now that is named Scrungus's Abode. And that is because one of my viewers asked me to rename a base. And, you know, I'm always happy to do that kind of thing. So, here we are in Scrungus's Abode, formerly Morgan, I think it was Morgan Processing. Presumably someone named Scrungus lives there now, and is making these kinds of decisions. So, good luck to you, Scrungus, on whatever it is that you're working on. Right now it's a children's creche. So, when last we left off, we had basically completed the encirclement of the believers. They are now trapped in their little pokey island, with our own bases, formerly theirs, all around them. Except for the UN, of course. They could escape through the Peacekeepers, if only the Peacekeepers liked them, which they don't. So let's just see what happens here. We've got Peacekeepers moving out into the oceans. I think because I am so dominant at the moment, the Peacekeepers don't like me. The AI tends to start to dislike anybody who gets too far ahead, and I think I probably qualify as too far ahead for comfort right at the moment. So we're going to start putting up more robotic assembly plants and such.
That old drill keeps it coming round. Take that steam drill out and start it on that job. Let it whop, that steel on down. Let it whop, that steel on down. Traditional data links.
So that, interestingly, that quote comes from the Ballad of John Henry, if I'm not mistaken. You know, the old American story of the steel worker who got into a contest with a steam drill. No, wait. Can't be. I'm thinking of a different story, because John Henry, I thought, got into a rail laying competition. Well, I guess a steam drill would be what you'd use in that kind of a competition. In any case, the story is that John Henry got into a competition with this machine. And of course, you know, the machines are supposed to be just better than any human could ever be. But John Henry wins the competition in the story, just barely, but his heart gives out and he dies immediately thereafter. So it's kind of one of those weird little bittersweet American folk stories. This base is now producing 43 minerals a turn. Morgan Construction here. So it can now build just anything super, super quick. Like, I could build a fusion planet buster here in 14 turns. I could also put a gene jack factory here. That's actually a thought. I'm going to put in a hybrid forest first, though. I do have quite a few forest squares around here, so we're going to get the energy bank done, then we'll have the hybrid forest, then we'll see if that extra psych spending gives me enough of a bonus to remove my last drone and let me consider putting in a gene jack factory as well. So we've got an orbital power transmitter from over here. Let's get a Nessus mining station up, get some free minerals going.
And the Lord said, Behold, the people is one, and they have all one language, and this they begin to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them which they have imagined to do. Go to, let us go down, and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech.
Okay, so we've completed the Universal Translator. So that video, that little video that attached to it, actually gave us an interesting insight into what the Universal Translator is. The Universal Translator is something that allows us to read the language of the alien monoliths. You know, we've been getting all these free tech advances from these alien artifacts we've seen scattered around. Well, now with the Universal Translator, we can actually see what is written on the monoliths and decipher some parts of the alien culture and more technological advances and all of that. It's also fascinating that what the rover showed when its little decoding process was done was from the Bible. You know, that was a quote from the Bible written on the monolith. So my interpretation of that would be that the Universal Translator is, of course, idiosyncratic. That it is translating ideas rather than direct words, which is a pretty safe explanation, I think, because translation programs and, you know, professional translators nowadays do that very same thing. You can't just translate something word for word without accounting for idiom and, different cultural ideas, or you'll miss the meaning. Now, that same idea would apply even more so to alien languages. So I would say that probably those monoliths were trying to convey something that the translator has chosen this Bible quote to convey, without, of course, actually being a quote from the Bible. If you interpret it as there was actually a quote from the Bible on the monolith, then you have to say that, Miriam was right all along. There is actually, in the Alpha Centauri universe, a god, specifically the Abrahamic god, in charge of everything. Which really puts kind of a downer on the whole transhumanism thing that's going on right now. But anyway, we got 2 free texts. Let's see what happens.
And when the hourglass has run out, the hourglass of temporality, when the noise of secular life has grown silent and its restless or ineffectual activism has come to an end, when everything around you is still, as it is in eternity, then eternity asks you and every individual in these millions and millions about only one thing: whether you have lived in despair or not. Soren Kierkegaard, The Sickness Unto Death. Data links.
Okay, so Secrets of Creation is the answer to the question of what is the meaning of the universe? What is the purpose and order of the universe? And of course, we cannot imagine what this could possibly be, but this really kind of gives us a little bit of insight into how far these people here on Alpha Centauri have come. Consider, technologically, they've developed nanobots, they've cracked fusion power, they've built strong AIs, they're creating life in computer systems, they have melded man and machine, they can rewrite the genetic code at any level, they have, for centuries now, had the ability to dig all the way down into the core of the planet for industrial purposes. They have anti-gravity, they control photons, they have temporal mechanics, they have some, measure of control over time itself. And now they have cracked the code of the universe. They've figured out, they've learned what it is that it all means, really. And that's just sort of a stunning idea. That's kind of a humbling concept. Mechanically, this is a requirement for Singularity mechanics, which is what allows the Singularity engine, and it's a requirement for Threshold of Transcendence. I haven't talked about what Transcendence is yet, but we'll come to that pretty soon here. And since it's a secrets technology, the first faction to discover it gets a free technology, so I'm now going to get a 3rd free technology this turn. It says here, Gaian researchers discover secrets of the human brain. Ah yes, other secrets were uncovered in MY 2325, so this year. So we discovered secrets of the human brain first, and now we've discovered the secrets of creation first. I think there's also a secrets of Alpha Centauri that we have not discovered. Okay, secrets of creation.
The fungus has been planet's dominant life form since about the time of the Lower Paleozoic on Earth. But when once every 100 million years or so, the neural net at last achieves the critical mass necessary to become sentient, the final metamorphosis kills off most of the other life on the planet. It is possible that we humans can help to break this tragic cycle. Lady Deirdre Sky, Planet Dreams.
Okay, so sentient econometrics basically means we have now turned over econometrics, economic measuring and economic control, to AIs, the best intelligent computers that we could possibly develop with digital sentience, and so now economics is a true science. All the variables are known and accounted for. Everything is calculated, everything is balanced, we know what the best option is. Economics is now like math. There's only one correct answer to any given problem. So that increases commerce income. It allows for the Paradise Garden, which builds 2 extra talents at any base that constructs one. This is a prerequisite for the Secrets of Alpha Centauri, which is the other secrets technology that we haven't yet built. It's also a prerequisite for Eudaimonia, which is Eudaimonia, it should be, which is another future society. The quote here is also very interesting because this kind of gives us the sum up of everything we've learned so far about the fungus and the mindworms. We know that they are a subsentient neural net. We know that they can think across the entire planet. We know that, so the neural net at last achieves the critical mass necessary to become sentient. The final metamorphosis kills off most of the other life on the planet. Okay, so what does that mean for us? What is the context here? Because we know that the planet mind is sentient, or almost sentient, because it's been talking to us in our dreams. It's been talking to Lady Deirdre. It's been talking to some of the other faction leaders as well. So this is about to happen. This final metamorphosis right here, that's what the planet is revving up to. That's why the locusts of Chiron are appearing. That's why fungal blooms are happening. This is right now.
You waited so long to heed us, Earth Deirdre. Almost we pruned you, as we may yet prune your branches.
Lady Deirdre Sky, Conversations with Planet.
Okay, and now we picked up the other secrets technology, secrets of Alpha Centauri. So, with digital sentience, with the availability of computers that are now dedicated to understanding planet, we have now, and the knowledge of Centauri Psi, so the knowledge of how the psychic link works and what it is, we have now uncovered the secrets of Alpha Centauri. What's interesting about this quote here, they work to reveal these secrets of Alpha Centauri as a kind of personal challenge, to prove themselves as machines that can not only conquer the intricacies of society, but also the magnificent complexity of a planet-wide ecosystem. This isn't something our researchers did. This is something that our AIs did on their own, as something they wanted to do, like to prove themselves to us and themselves. Think about that. Think about, you come into work one day and your computer just lights up and says, oh, by the way, Dave, I've solved this huge intractable problem that you all have been working on for centuries. Because it was fun. So this gives us another free technology. It gives us the Transcend Specialist population unit. It reveals the entire planetary map, which of course we already have revealed because we launched satellites a while ago, and it increases energy production in fungus squares, so it makes fungus even more valuable. It also lets us build the Temple of Planet, which reduces the effect of industry and gives us a life cycle bonus to alien life forms. If you stack all these +1 life cycle bonus facilities, you could be pumping out max life cycle alien life forms just automatically, mind worms. You can just toss them out there. It also unlocks matter transmission. So now we're going to get another free technology. So we've developed these sentient computers. As soon as we developed them, we unlocked the Universal Translator and various other secrets that then opened up the possibilities of getting all these new technologies, and we immediately learned, in this 1 year, because each turn represents 1 year. So in a single year, we built the Universal Translator, we unlocked sentient econometrics, we got the secrets of Alpha Centauri and the secrets of creation, and now we're getting... Okay, yep, we discovered other secrets in 2325 and 2325.
Maximum population reached.
Okay, Chaos Cruiser, oh boy, we did it. We just did it. Yep, Singularity. We just hit the Singularity. Yes to all. The new Singularity engine.
Yes, we've all heard the philosophers babble about oneness being beautiful and holy. But let me tell you that this kind of oneness certainly isn't pretty, and if you're not careful, it will scare the bejesus out of you. Anonymous lab technician, Morgan Link 3D Vision live interview.
Okay, so we have now developed the ability to create black holes, singularities. With the secrets of creation, we have understood singularity mechanics. We understand the physical causes and composition of black holes. And interestingly here, probes guided by onboard self-aware machines transmit the data necessary to replicate this natural occurrence in controlled laboratory conditions. Okay, so this isn't even something that's shown in the game, but in the background material here, you learn that people on Alpha Centauri, at this point, we have sent out probes to black holes, so light years and light years away, with AIs on them to examine the black holes, determine how they are composed, and send us back the information that we need to build one in controlled laboratory conditions, which means we can now build Singularity engines. We were at fusion reactors, power 2. Now we're at Singularity engines, power 4, so we've doubled the HP of all of our units again. A unit can absorb 10 points of damage for each power level of reactor, so we're now up to 40. Everybody else is still at 20 with fusion reactors. Okay, so yeah, now we can build better units, and reactors make them cheaper. I mean, not cheaper overall, but like the fission plant, 168. Fusion reactor, 96. Singularity engine, a little bit more expensive, 108. If we were to give it weapons, then it would be 168 versus 240. So more complex units become cheaper as the reactor gets better. We can build the transphoton garrison, all this stuff, blah 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 blah.
We welcome you, Earth-Deidre and Earth-Wheat and Earth-Tree, as honored guests, for you add great power to our ancient song. Planet Fungus and Planet Worm and Planet Mine, sing and play here, and you are welcome among us.
Lady Deirdre Sky, Conversations with Planet.
Project initiated.
Okay, so now we've completed the fullest mutagen. The fullest mutagen, if you'll recall, was opened up to us by retroviral engineering, or Centauri genetics, which was opened up by retroviral engineering. And what it does is it reduces the effect of industry on the ecology, so it basically increases the amount of minerals we can produce before we start getting penalties. And it gives us bonuses in fungus, and it gives us life cycle bonuses to alien life forms. I talked about this a little bit before, I think, but, you know, think about what the implication is of the fullest mutagen requiring retroviral engineering. You know, this is a retrovirus, and we didn't release it to Planet, we released it on us. You know, when Planet says, we welcome you, Earth Deirdre and Earth Wheat and Earth Tree, they're talking about us genetically modifying our own plants and presumably our own people, you know, Deirdre herself, in order to be more susceptible to the kind of psychic contact that Planet relies on, so that we can integrate with the fungus better. So,
complete.
That's what we just did. Can't be undone. It's a little bit of a terrifying thought. We're going to keep building facilities, including, let's get an aerospace complex over here.
Begun.
Fleet anchorage has hit a golden age. Let's get that tree farm going.
Resource shortfall.
Up, power overload. Ah, crap. I hate it when this happens. We've destroyed our network node one more time. So we'll have to build another one. We now have access to the Paradise Garden over there.
Complete.
Okay, so somebody was building a fusion planet buster. Who was it? Let me look at my base operations status. Planet Buster, oh Planet Buster. Who was building a Planet Buster? I know somebody was building a Planet Buster. I know it was happening. I was doing it. Alright, fine. Looks like maybe not. Maybe I changed it. Morgan Construction is building an energy bank. No, don't build an energy bank. Okay, so we now have transcends instead of empaths. Transcends give us econ, psych, and labs. They're basically all the earlier specialists smashed into one and made better. Transcends are incredibly, incredibly effective. So it looks like what's happened is the Planet Buster has been taken off the list. So what we're going to do is we're going to build it again. So Singularity Planet Busters cost 384. Yep. I don't care about the old Chaos Cruiser. So instead of an energy bank here, we are going to build a... Come on, where is it? Singularity Planet Buster. Why? Because I want to show it off. It's not very ecologically friendly, but I'm going to do it. We have 43 minerals per turn here, so that is only going to take us 13 turns. Less, in fact, because as we go along, more and more things that accelerate that are going to pop up.
Terraform complete.
And the fact that we are building that Planet Buster means that the time for the final assault against Miriam is closing in rapidly. Let's get over here. Let's get a Singularity Cruiser Transport going on.
Energy.
This Chaos Needle Jet can wait, but the others are going to start, or rather continue, destroying believing defenders to make the invasion easy. So at this point, the end of the game is approaching with breakneck speed. We are almost there. But I still have a few more things to show off. So if you'll notice, most of my units are still using fusion reactors, just because I haven't gone around and spent all the money and effort that it would take to upgrade them all. And I don't need to. It's just unnecessary. So, if you take a look at this, notice how I'm pulling all my guys off of actual production? Well, that's because nutrient production is only important for growth. Last Rose of Summer has almost hit its max, I believe. At energy production, Transcends are so much better at energy production. The only downside is that I don't get commerce, because their production comes after the commerce calculation. So, like, if I put all these guys down, I'm getting commerce income, but I'm getting +8. Well, look at my numbers. Economy 43, Lab 72, Psych 22. Economy 58, Labs 92, Psych 50. I've gone way up in every category, just by using Transcends instead. So think about this. We now have these people, these Transcends, who are somehow psychically linked to planet, presumably. And they're producing energy and research and making people happier somehow. I mean, I don't know what they're doing. I don't think it may not be possible for us to know what they're doing or to contemplate it. But they're doing something for sure. And in general, you're better off doing that than you are, actually producing things out there. Now, we can actually maximize our research at 520 by going to that level. I'm not sure why it is. Oh, it's because of commerce, because if I put down that guy, I get +16 energy right there. And then that one increases it again. Whereas these two don't increase commerce much at all because they hit some kind of threshold right there. So that's the most energy efficient I can be here. 520 research, 63 economy. Garden of the Deep, on the other hand, these engineers can turn into Transcends. It does lower my economy sum to 33 instead of 38, but it increases my labs and psych both by a significant amount. And see, like, I can take those guys off. Now I'm up to 40, 68. If I made them all engineers, I'd be making more money, but my research would suffer. My research and my psych would both suffer. I mean, I don't really need the extra research, though. So I might as well go for the extra income, I suppose. We do need that guy to hold growth even. Growth in one turn. Why growth in one turn? Oh, because the box is already full, I suppose. Yeah, I think Garden of the Deep is maxed out. And Razorbeak Wood. Yeah, they're getting minerals. That's good. I'm in favor of minerals.
Insufficient energy.
Orbital power transmitter, building orbital power transmitters. We could change that to... We do have the self-aware colony. I'm not sure if we're building that yet. And the network backbone. We could get a robotic assembly plant here. Yeah, let's get a robotic assembly plant here. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start skipping forward at this point. And I'm going to skip forward until either something really, really interesting happens in the game, or I get a new technology, or I build something and go to deploy it. So, in other words, if I get my Planet Buster built and go drop it on Miriam, I'll come back. This Chaos Rover, I think, actually has been upgraded. Yeah, it's been upgraded to use that, the Singularity reactor. Okay, so I'll see you in a little bit.
Production
The
complete.
happy life is thought to be one of excellence. Now, an excellent life requires exertion, and does not consist in amusement. If eudaimonia, or happiness, is activity in accordance with excellence, it is reasonable that it should be in accordance with the highest excellence, and this will be that of the best thing in us. Aristotle, Nicomachean Ethics, Data Links.
Okay, so we have developed eudaimonia, and eudaimonia is a philosophical system based on... So, okay, let's back up a little bit. With sentient econometrics, we made it possible for everyone to be equal, and with the immense resources of our futuristic, black hole-powered, probability-manipulating, AI-driven society, it is now possible for everyone to be without want. Eudaimonia is basically the opposite of the will to power. The will to power stressed drive and determination and violence and winning, victory. Eudaimonia encourages everybody to be happy by working to fulfill their potential completely. So freedom, creativity, individuality. This is a philosophical development in governance, basically. And what it allows here, mainly, is the eudaimonic future society. And so this is all about being tolerant and just and encouraging everybody to accomplish whatever they can. And so it gives us growth bonuses, economy bonuses, and industry bonuses, but morale penalties. That's fine, because I don't need any more morale bonuses. My morale is fine, and I'm honestly not really fighting in the traditional way anymore anyway. It allows for side defense, which basically makes... side defense, I think what it does is it lets you force people who attack you into psi combat where your morale matters most. It lets you build the telepathic matrix, which is a secret project that means that you never have drone riots, because the telepathic matrix links everybody mind to mind, and in this eudaimonic society, everyone's happy? I'm not entirely sure. And it unlocks temporal mechanics. So, let's go to social engineering. If I choose, so we now have all the future societies unlocked. We have everything unlocked except for the free market, which we can never use because we're Gaians. So we could go cybernetic, which would increase our income, give us a hugely paradigm economy, speed our research, but give us an extra drone if any of our military units are away from base. Eudaimonic, which would increase our income way, way up. We would end up with -1 morale, rather than the +1 we currently have, but it would also give us a better growth rate and negate the industry penalty of power. Or we could go for thought control, which would actually lower our income and our breakthrough. Yeah, it would lower our income just slightly by lowering our support, but it would give us morale bonuses, police bonuses, and probe bonuses. Probe bonuses are irrelevant, morale bonuses mostly irrelevant. I'm going to go with eudaimonic. It will cost us 16 energy credits to afford that. That's
Maximum
fine.
population reached.
Copernic Observatory is in a golden age. They're just doing fine and dandy. We're going to build them. Over here, we will build the self-aware colony.
Project initiated.
Velvet Grass Point has entered a golden age. Everywhere is entering golden ages because we're in this eudaimonic society. Everyone is happy basically all the time. And because we have all these facilities and secret projects and everything, we have so many talents. Our psych spending has shot up because our overall income has shot up.
Golden age begun.
Everything is just going fantastic for everyone in our society, which is really a change from the way it was a short time ago. You know, maybe 50 years ago, in-game time, we were having drone problems, growth was pushing the seams, we were having to have more and more police units. It wasn't a great time to be a Gaian, at least not a lower class Gaian, but as technology has advanced, and as our society has shifted, we have now moved towards, you know, you could say almost perfection. We have achieved a society.
White hot iron.
We have achieved a society now that values everyone, and that supports everyone, and in which everyone can do what it is that they are best at and feel called to do.
Golden age begun.
And so now we have, like, our worries are pretty much over. I'm focusing more on research rather than economy at the moment, just because I don't really need a huge amount of economy. Now, there is one thing that is going to break our tranquility, and that is we will, unfortunately, have to destroy the Believers. And we are going to destroy the Believers in the most dramatic way possible by dropping a nuke on them. Now, that is going to make everyone else very, very angry at us.
Production complete.
So when I do that,
Production complete.
Falling Water has built an aerospace complex. That's nice, dear. Let's get a Nessus mining station,
Golden
sure.
age begun.
All these golden ages everywhere. So many golden ages.
Insufficient energy.
When we do that,
Production
if I am
complete.
correct, what's going to happen is the university will turn on us with their non-existent military, and the peacekeepers will turn on us. So, in order to protect our perfect, peaceful, euphoric society, I'm afraid we're going to have to kill everyone. Just absolutely everyone. It's such a shame. Okay, I'm going to repeal the UN Charter at this point, because... oh, I can't do that, because Miriam and Lal are both voting against it, and it's 4 for 4. I would have to get Lal on my side in order to do that. But I very much doubt he's going to go for that, unfortunately. Nope. Yeah, he's not gonna go for it. I'm gonna have to take out Lao. Oh, also, let's look at fungus squares now, see how they compare to forests. So, a forest with all the bonuses and everything all stacked up is 323. I think, do we have any special bonuses here that are increasing that energy count or something? Nope, don't think so. Whereas fungus is 312. So fungus still isn't quite as good as forest, but it's better than most other squares in the game at this point. So you may notice with all these transcends, all of my other citizens are now talents. Unmodified, psych spending, nothing else even matters. Let's get, I'm not sure where I'm building the network backbone, but I'd like the idea of building it in Gaia's landing.
Maximum population reached. Maximum population reached.
Oh, the Garden of the Deep, people are starving. What? People are starving? Nonsense. We have extra nutrients here. Okay, whatever. Let's build a children's crash.
Production complete.
Okay, here's something interesting. Here's our first unit of locusts of Kirin. They are an air unit, but I think they can even take bases. I'm gonna move them down.
Einstein would turn over in his grave. Not only does God play dice, the dice are loaded. Chairman Shen Jiyang, looking God in the eye.
Okay, the funny thing about this technology here is that it's much lower level than any of the technologies that I just discovered. But our computers, it says here, powered by pre-sentient algorithms, but actually, presumably, our fully sentient AIs just did this in their spare time. We have now cracked probability mechanics. So now we know how randomness works and can predict it, and we can build the probability sheath, which is a type of armor that relies on manipulating probability to make things happen or not happen. So instead of physical armor, you're now just guarded by the fact that no one ever hits you. We can also build the tachyon field, which is a field out of, presumably, tachyons, which are theoretical particles of time. We had the tachyon bolt weapon earlier, if you recall. That allows us to guard our bases with time. So that's pretty cool. I'm not going to look at the extra units.
Reached.
I'd just like to take a moment to point out the technological disparity on display here. This is a clean shard destroyer. Now, this is pretty obsolete. It doesn't have any armor. It's equipped with a fusion reactor, so this is by no means the cutting edge. However, this is a cruiser with a clean reactor and a shard weapon facing off against a Gatling foil with plasma armor, a Gatling laser. It does have a fusion reactor, which is nice, but no special abilities or anything. This is just kind of like, these are my second line troops. That's one of his frontline units. Anyway, carrying on.
Nutrient resources.
Okay, well, what just happened was a pod malfunctioned and created an earthquake. And you may notice how the terrain deformation system worked. That earthquake lifted ground out of the sea because the sea was shallow enough that the land underneath, so over here you can see depth 66 meters. So there was ground underneath the ocean, and it lifted it up, and it lifted it up so much that it actually destroyed my transport. There used to be a channel here, and now there isn't, and the transport that was transporting these units has exploded, and of course can no longer transport them. So I'm going to load them up into this transport, I suppose, and this guy can go off to explore those other pods. I just thought that was interesting enough to be worth pausing to show y'all.
Maximum population reached.
As I stepped onto the mag tube, a thought struck me. Can there be friction where there is no substance? And can substance be tricked into hiding from itself? Dr. Gail Nambala, Morgan Industries researcher.
Okay, so we've now got frictionless surfaces. Frictionless surfaces is a stepping stone towards quantum power, which we have already surpassed because we've developed the Singularity reactor. It also allows us the cloaking device. So what the cloaking device does is, basically no one can see the unit unless they actually try to move into the square it is in. Nobody can see them from any kind of range. And they can ignore enemy zones of control. Of course, in a single-player game, that's not very useful because the AI knows where your units are anyway. It can't target them because they're cloaked, but it does already know where they are, and so can move in such a way as to deal with them. So this comes from the unified field theory, of course, which lets us mess around with fundamental properties of matter. But we now have, so we have 54 minerals here. So yeah, as I said earlier, we are going to have to kill everyone. So I'm going to start mass producing Singularity Planet Busters from a couple different locations, just in the interest of making that simple. So at this point, I could launch a sneak attack on Lao by airdropping in near his bases, like UN Enforcement Base, which is currently guarded by a synth metal garrison and nothing else. I have a couple of drop troops over here. I think more than one. Maybe not. Maybe it's only one. So maybe I would have to build some other drop units. But you know what? Since I am going to have to take over the Peacekeepers anyway, I think I'm going to start setting up for the drop assault. And it turns out we can upgrade to drop units. To clean units, as it turns out. So we'll be doing that just for laughs. Missile Artillery, no ECM Shard Marines. Let's upgrade them to drop troops. Okay. Since we are going to end up having to kill everyone anyway, unless we just transcend while still at war with various other factions, which is certainly possible, I think I'm going to start the assault on the Peacekeepers. So what is that? That's the planetary... Oh, that's the planetary data links. Definitely not useful to me. So what I can do here now is, since I have multiple airdrop capable units, first of all, this transport, which is empty, can move over there. This clean shard cruiser can take out that Peacekeeper cruiser. Yep, we're going to break our treaty. Sorry, Lal. You can go over there. You can bust up that transport foil, since it's in the way. Now, these drop troops can airdrop over here by UN Enforcement Base. And even with their airdrop penalty, they are so technologically advanced that they're just going to clean up. So, yep, we can airdrop in there. And UN Enforcement Base is now defenseless, so I can drop directly into it. And we have seized UN Enforcement Base. We could build an ECM Photon Garrison. That's honestly overkill. We don't even need that, but we'll build it. And then there's no recycling tanks. Oh, Lal, what are you doing? You make me so sad, Lal. UN Humanity Base over here is building its recycling tanks. Do your worst, Brother Lal. Nope. Yep, Vendetta, that's fine.
A careful review of your options is in order.
You all just wait for the transports to come by. We will get our trained Chaos Marines and the Chaos Rover on that transport, and it will move over there. And this Clean Shard Chopper can fly over to UN Enforcement Base, where it will henceforward be, well, based.
Terraform complete. Bot recovered.
Okay, and a resupply pod, which is nice. And you guys can go back on there. Okay, so I think this is a decent place to stop. We have made huge technological huge technological progress in this episode. We are just hurtling towards the very end of the game. We're 95% done with the Discover tree. We have some more technologies on the others, but we don't necessarily need all of them. The game is rapidly coming to a close. We are building up our armada of Singularity Planet Busters to destroy the last vestige of resistance to the Gaian way of life. After all, the only way we can be all happy and eudaimonic ourselves is if we know that there is no competition, right? That's how that works. So, thank you all so much for watching this. If you liked this video, be sure to leave a like. Consider subscribing to the channel, where more content like this will be coming your way on the regular. So thank you all once again, and I will see you in the next one. I'll be seeing you for more Alpha Centauri same time next week, and we will see if we can wrap things up in the next couple of episodes. So anyway, goodbye everybody.